Good afternoon, people. Happy Sunday. Hope everybody's well. I hope everybody is doing okay health wise. I know everybody's been trying to get over the holiday situation with all the food, all the shopping, um, jumping from house to house. Now we're back to normal everyday things. Welcome back to A Day in the Life. I'm Glenn, and this video won't be as long. Um, I've not recorded in a couple of days. I've just had so many other things going on. Um, you know, have you ever had a situation where you have best friends and um, they tend to, and you tend to talk to each other and pretty much bare your soul to them for the most part, and on your in your own right that um, they can pretty much tell you anything, and you know you're not going to repeat those things. So I've had those types of situations happen, and I recently had that situation happen where someone told me that they were going through something that was very private, and they trusted me enough with that information, knowing that it wouldn't be repeated. Fast forward to yesterday, I get a text back from this best friend of mine accusing me of divulging said information to someone who is a known person who have loose lips. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know the type of person I'm talking about. I'm sure you've encountered them in your everyday life. I'm sure you encounter them on your job. Some of them may be in your own family, where no matter what it is, there's always that person who, no matter what's being said, especially if it's juicy and salacious, they can't wait to get that information and then go tell the next person, just like them grimy news reporters that got to be the first to drop a story. So apparently, uh, this friend of mine they've been out for the last couple of days from the job, and somehow, I guess she was contacted by a couple of other team members, and they were having a conversation, and one of the girls just got engaged, and she had been showing a ring off, and it's a nice big size ring. It's beautiful, and I can't think of a more deserving person. One of the most stand-up people that I know. So she deserves her happiness, and more power to her, and good luck to her and her guy. But then there's the other person who was also in the conversation with her, who dropped a bomb saying that where's your ring? I heard you were divorced or something to that extent. Now, my best friend, to my collection, says that I was the only one that she told this information. But she flipped the script on me and accused me. On one hand, I understand why she feels the way she feels, because in her mind she's sure that I'm the only one that she told the information to. Um, but I'm also sure that that's just some information that you just don't tell people. You, it, Everyone knows what's the difference between certain things that you share and certain things you just know not to share. This was one of those things that she was adamant um, about. it not being repeated. And she's a trusted friend, so obviously I'm not going to do that. But she's feeling some kind of way because that information got out, and she's swearing that I did. I don't ever recall repeating it. I've thought about it over and over again. It's just bugging me because I don't want to be that person to betray a friend's trust. And I'm sure all of you know how I feel about that, because I'm sure you guys have those same issues at some point, or had those same issues at some point in your lives where you've had these types of encounters. So what I wound up saying to her is, I said, are you sure that someone close to you who also knows about what's going on couldn't have possibly disclosed it? And at the same time, dropped it to someone unbeknownst to you that might know you, might know the other girls, one or two of the other girls at the job, that they may have shared it with as a, oh yeah, I know her type thing. Yeah, I heard she was going through a divorce or this, that, and the third. I'm very certain I never repeated that. That's just something you don't repeat. That's a shitty thing to do to someone you call one of your best friends. My days at my job are always stressful because there's nothing worse than working with a whole bunch of people who are messy, who are gabbers. They love to talk. Some love chaos. There doesn't even have to be any chaos, but they'll make it materialize some way, somehow. And usually I'm in my office in the back, and I don't know half of this stuff is going on. Every now and then I'll come up front and do my run through and make sure everything's good, everybody's okay. But no one says anything until like 2 weeks later, or at the end of the day when everybody's gone, and they don't allow you the chance to address the situation. Then when someone does finally tell you that there's something going on, and me as the manager, I'm supposed to address it, they don't give you the time to address it. And the next thing you know, you're hearing rumblings from other team members that they're going to go to HR, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. And I'm like, you mean you're not going to give me an opportunity to do my job? You gave me a dilemma that you're dealing with. I have to investigate. I can't just go and jump on somebody with no proof. It's just your word against theirs. And you haven't really given me a chance to confirm anything. So the same person who brought the information to my attention says, was it yesterday? Either yesterday or Thursday, either Thursday or Friday. Yeah, what came of that situation? Well, she asked me, what came of that situation that I, told you about? And I said, that's something that's being discussed and is being worked on. And then she turns around and says, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to do anything. I haven't heard anything, so nothing's probably happened. And I said to her, and managers, if you're on this, if you come across this video, you can simply say, let me ask you, have you had situations where people think you haven't done what they expect you to do? It's almost as if when you work with a bunch of people who love chaos, they want to see it play out in front of them. And if they don't see it in front of them playing out, they think nothing has happened. And my comment has always been, how do you know nothing's happened? I do my stuff behind the scenes. I investigate. I pull people into the office and have conversations. I'm not going to just sit there and blast somebody in front of someone just for your appeasement. And I said, when I'm done with my investigation, I will pull you into the office, then tell you what came of the situation. I have a office full of people who love chaos, and it just makes things a little more difficult when it's time to do the job. Um, Let me ask you managers this one. People know that they have things that they need to do, have assignments that need to be done, projects that need to be done. You give them ample amount of time to do the projects, and leading up to the deadlines, you're constantly having huddles and meetings and reminding people. You're sending email messages to the whole team that this is coming up, make sure that this is done. But they don't meet the mark, and now your managers are on your ass because your team's not doing what they're doing. Or your team's not doing what they're expected to do by the deadline. And then when you tell them, if you don't do this or that and the third, um, you'll get suspended until it's done without pay, or um, you won't have access to your accounts dealing with your job, or termination. And then they have the nerve to be shocked, like they've just heard it for the first time, and you've only been um, singing the same damn tune for 6 months, and people act like it's the first time that they've heard it. And it gets to a point where, you know what, there are times when I've been lenient because I get how busy we are, and it doesn't really allow for us the time to sit down and get certain things done. You offer to have the team do these things. Some of these assignments can be done online at home, and you offer to pay them for the time because you have an idea of how long it should take for each of these assignments to be done. It lists it on when you go in to look at the information for each assignment, and you can do the math and you can figure out if they're getting paid for 2 hours worth of work, 3 hours worth of work. Extra money. Because my manager and the company itself really doesn't really want people to do them, don't really want people to do them at home. And I said to my manager, I'm like, well, when do we have the time during the regular hours to do it? I said, because we deal with the public every day. We run an outpatient lab, and we see people by appointment, and we see a good chunk of people by walk-in. Of all ages, from infant to geriatric. And then not to mention the difficulties in trying to get certain tests done, trying to find veins for blood draws, glucose tolerance tests that are 3 hours long, breath tests. We do just about everything. And it's always been expected that we get these things done. Then you have to deal with things like how your team members interact with the public, with their patients, with their other team members, and even team members outside of your department. Back in the day when I started working here, where I tell you I work at Jersey Shore University Medical Center here in Neptune, New Jersey. Oh God, I just lost my train of thought. Just give me a minute, I'll get that back. But when you have these situations where you'd hope that your team have some etiquette when it comes to the job. When you're dealing with patients, you're working in the medical field. I believe that if you don't have any kind of compassion or empathy, you have no business working in medicine. You have no business working in the medical field because you're dealing with people who have a lot of issues. Number one. Number two, you don't want to be a person who's going to cause more problem or add issues to the situation. You want to be thoughtful, you want to be compassionate, you want to show empathy, you want to show selflessness, you want to make sure that your patient is getting as close to a wow experience as possible. And it's amazing how so many team members can't seem to leave their ego outside the door. Because I truly believe if you're going to come and work in a place like a hospital, or any medical setting for that matter, or any job really, you got to keep your egos at home. Um, Boyfriend broke up with you last night, or wife asked you for a divorce, or you got caught screwing some other girl and you got busted with your side piece, or whatever the situation was that it was so traumatic that you had a really bad argument or it just ended horribly. You got to find out a way to differentiate and departmentalize what happened the night before and put on your professional face when you walk through the door in the morning. Because I'm not accepting it. We have things in place called EAP, where if you're really having psychological or mental issues, you can get on the phone and call those people. I'll give you the space to go into one of our office spaces and make the phone call and have a session. You need to be focused when you're dealing with the public and you're dealing with patients. When I first started at the hospital, they used to have trainings, things that are expected of your team members when you come to work. How are you supposed to act when you walk through the door? How are you supposed to treat your patients on a daily basis, or any other team members for that matter? What's the appropriate thing to say? What's inappropriate to say? How are you supposed to present yourself? How your appearance? It 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 it, it there were so many things. There were so many things that um, you were taught since the merger with Hackensack. Meridian has kind of changed. So now it's Hackensack Meridian Health. That's the company now. And in some ways, it's just been an awesome positive as a whole. But then in some ways, it sort of changed things. And then when on a smaller level, Quest Diagnostics got into a partnership with HMH, and sort of our lab got outsourced to Quest. That complicated things some more too, and we're all just bouncing back from that. You got some people that just quit because of that partnership. Um, Over the last 2 or 3 years, I've had so much turnover in my own department, and we've had some fabulous phlebotomists, people who are so good at that job, but they don't stay. And now I have at least 3 of my team members who are in school, which I'm happy to see. That's one of my things that I've always pushed since I've been there. If you're going to do education, I'll help out any kind of way, get you information for tuition reimbursement, what HMH offers, what Quest offers in those areas to help you along. Maybe you can get scholarships, anything. So right now it's about getting that stability back because we're not reeling. It's just things aren't settled right now because we got another team member who's about to leave to transfer to another Quest site. And then we have one person who's not been in the best of health. And they've just gotten back after being out for 5 months. And now they're back out again for the last 2 days. So we got 2 open slots that we're trying to fill. My day at my job is always interesting. It's never easy. Um, but when things are good, it's really, really rewarding. Um, there's always something new to talk about. And I think one of the reasons why I've started this page, it also allows me to get out what's on my mind. And it's also a form of therapy for me. So I think the more of these that I put out, people will eventually see them, and I'll get feedback from people. It'll be positive. I'm sure there'll be some negatives as well. And then, it'll be nice to get some input from people who have these experiences as managers or leads or leaders or leaders, and maybe get me some more good ideas that I can implement that I'm not thinking of right now. Um, but thank you for listening to me. I didn't think I was going to be on here long. I wound up doing what my average is. I wanted to do about 20 minutes. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment or a suggestion. If there's something that I can do better, we can do that. Again, I'm new to this channel, and I will be implementing some things the more comfortable that I become with doing this. Have a wonderful Sunday. Continue to be blessed, and we'll see you at the top.